Hello and welcome back to Game Chat. This is me, Metro Brunner, apparently, because somebody thinks I'm
Wow.
a Grammy Award winning producer. But anyway, we'll get into that later. This is Game Chat. If you've come in from the Homelander YouTube Shorts, welcome. This is our channel. We're a podcast channel. I have two people over here with me. I have Anthony over there. For the audio listeners, Anthony's wearing an Eagles jersey. I don't know why I brought that up.
Go.
And then I also have Elite here with me. It's good to have the three of us here. And let's get into it.
Elite's not wearing an Eagles jersey. Put that out for the audio listeners.
I'm not
Yeah,
wearing the
actually,
Eagles jersey.
Anthony is wearing a
Brandon Dawkins black
Carolina
jersey.
Panthers Frank Reich jersey.
Oh, I was about to say Frank Wright. I forgot. With the, if anything, I want Elite to send me a. I don't know if you have this Elite, but Carolina Panthers Hassan Reddick jersey.
Do not have a Hassan Reddick jersey. I don't.
Fake fan.
I'd have to check with Jack. I don't think we do.
Yeah, I was telling him, Jack Fax, shout out Jack Fax, that I'm going to Arizona to see the media week, the opening night for the Super Bowl. It's like an 8-hour drive from here, from my location. So I was reading the activities, and I was told that there's going to be some NFL autograph signings from Hall of Fame legends. So I'm thinking, bring Dawkins jersey because Dawkins might be there. Sign that shit.
Ooh.
I'm bringing my Madden 05 from original Xbox game with McNabb in it, the cover. So hopefully they sign that. Somebody could sign that. But I was telling Jack that I'm going to see Hassan Reddick in person. Really pumped for that, dude. Really pumped for that. Don't know when that next time the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl. So have to take advantage of it now when it's like 8 hours away.
If they keep playing like they are next year, it'll be the next year they go to the Super Bowl.
I hope so, man. But I mean, the NFC was kind of tough this year. I won't even lie with you.
Yeah,
I was really surprised.
I actually wrote down our predictions from
Oh no!
we had an episode, for those who know, we had an episode. It's called NFL
no.
predictions, early predictions of the divisions, and I wrote them down, and I think we should react to them.
All
All
right,
right, let's see.
that's blindsided the shit out of me. Here we go.
That's what he got on the notepad over there.
I'm
So
scared,
he
man.
got up all stealthy and grabbed that
I don't know
notepad.
how I did.
saw
I
that.
totally forgot about my picks. I think you
know I
predicted
fudged up on it.
the Steelers rightly, but they actually did have a winning season.
All right, so let's jump into it. We're gonna start off with the first one that we did, the NFC South. So, Elite, you said that the Saints would take the division. Then it would be the Panthers, the Buccaneers, and then the Falcons.
My prediction for the NFC South, I think Jameis Winston's going to have an amazing year, and the Saints are going to win the division. And they're going to win the division handily, very easily. And I might even make a prediction. It's going to go Saints, Panthers, Buccaneers. I guess I was wrong.
Panthers second.
And in reality, Buccaneers took it, then the Panthers, Saints, and Falcons. Anthony, you
that
said
was mine?
So I was kind of
Saints.
close. I was kind of close.
We all said Saints. We all said the Saints would take the
Oh, okay.
division.
We all said the same. Okay.
And they would have if there wasn't
would've.
injuries.
Yeah, you're right.
They would
you're
have.
right.
That was
I
a
agree.
division this year.
I agree.
So we all said Saints.
Yeah.
Anthony said Buccaneers in second place. Panthers, Atlanta. I said Saints, Panthers, Buccaneers, Falcons.
Saints first, Packers. Not Packers. I'm sorry. Panthers second, Buccaneers third.
I say it's gonna be Saints, Panthers,
Wow.
Bucks, Falcons.
Why do we pick the Saints? Thinking about it now, they don't even have a
Because
quarterback.
Michael Thomas was coming back from injury, and Jameis Winston just came back. He got hurt like in game
That's
2.
right. And then Jameis Winston, and then Jarvis Landry, and then Tyrann Mathieu was there. That's right.
And
yeah.
they also
this
had,
was after-
and they also
this
had
was-
Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good squad.
Yeah, and they got Tyrann
They had,
Mathieu.
who's the run?
Tyrann
Who's
They
the
got
running
Tyrann
back?
Mathieu from-
Alvin
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
I mean, they and then they
did
had
play
that dude. They had that white quarterback that's like a slash. that
Yeah.
does
Oh,
nothing but run
Taysom Hill.
6-yard touchdowns.
Yeah, Taysom Hill.
And then they drafted Chris Olave from I think Ohio
Chris
State.
Olave.
Yeah,
I mean, he
think
popped off, but we were like,
Yeah,
oh, they're going to take the division.
but they got hurt. Winston got hurt again. Honestly, that team is seriously one veteran quarterback that's reliable away from being a championship team. That's a friggin' good team.
Yep.
It's just
Imagine if Russell Wilson went to the Saints.
that's not the veteran quarterback I was talking about, though.
There you go. That's interesting. Okay, so I don't think we were wrong to predict the Saints like we just mentioned.
No.
That's a loaded team, but injuries plagued them. But all right, I mean, the Bucks, they got
the Panthers really were one game away from taking the division. They were one game out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a weird division. What was the next one, Bruce?
Next one. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, so the Buccaneers finished 8-9, and they took the division. Panthers were 7-10. Saints were 7-10, and the Falcons were also 7-10.
Yeah, anyone could have had that.
Such a weird division.
Yeah.
That was a freaking coin toss.
Yeah, that was a game.
All right, so now we're moving on to the NFC North. Elite, you predicted the Vikings would take the division, which was true. Vikings took the division at 13-4, but you predicted that the Packers would be second, and then you said Detroit would be third and the Bears would be last.
I think the Vikings are going to win that division.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, okay, Detroit did have a weird year.
Yeah, Detroit got second, yeah.
And I just want to go on the record and sit and say, is Kirk Cousins a top 15 quarterback?
Here we go.
No. Fourth and 8.
Come on! You won 13 freaking games!
Okay, top 15. Okay, but who's 16? That's what I got to know.
Russell Wilson.
Okay, I think after this season, I think Kirk Cousins is a lot better than a lot of people say he was. I'll admit that I'm a Kirk Cousins hater. I'm gonna agree with Elite, and believe it or not, I do think in this season, Kirk Cousins was a top 15 quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely in the top half of the league. Let's put it that way. He's in the top half of the league.
He played great this year. 15. Yeah. There wasn't no come on Kirk moments. He played some good games, and it's unfortunate that the New York losers had to eliminate him. But I mean, that new head coach that they have is bringing a new culture, and I'm excited to see some Vikings and Lions games in the future. It's gonna be good.
Lions surprised me. I will say the Lions surprised me.
All right.
Yeah. What'd you have, Brunner, for that? That's your old division.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
You got traded.
Anthony said me and Anthony said the Packers would take the division. But Anthony said Bears would be in second, Vikings in third, and Detroit would be last. I said Packers first, Bears second, Detroit last. I'm sorry, Detroit third, Vikings last. I also predicted that they would cut Kirk Cousins. I don't know. But also, I think Justin Fields is just want to put out. I think Justin Fields is a really good football player. They just need to give him some talent.
Sorry, go ahead, Lee.
Ready for an NFC hot take? Two things. I think in the next 3 years, Detroit Lions will be in their first Super Bowl ever.
That'd be crazy.
And I think that Aaron Rodgers will not be in Green Bay next year.
I agree on that one. I think he's going to Vegas. That's my two hot takes.
I don't think he's going to Vegas. I think he might go down to the team we were just talking about, New Orleans.
I think New York. I think New York.
Giants or the Jets?
No, the Jets. The Jets.
All right, so you know what? We'll go ahead and make another episode on free agency.
No, let's chug right into this, and then we can do like quarterback watch because some big names are hitting the free agency.
Big names.
I'm just gonna say this now. Derek Carr to the Colts. I mean, mid quarterback, mid team. Right? We agree with that.
Derek Carr to the Colts.
Dude, did you see what he did in the play in his skills and drills?
Yeah, bro.
He went off. He's like, "Oh, you haven't thrown like that ever in Las Vegas." Yeah, it's probably why I'm leaving.
Yeah, dude.
And he wore an NFL hat.
Also, I want to.
Yeah, he didn't even wear a team. That's right,
dude. I also want to mention that back to that NFC North prediction. There was also a video. It wasn't that same video we did the predictions, but there's a video of me ranting on Dan Campbell how he should be fired. Ever since that video got uploaded, they went on a winning streak, dude, and then they almost made it to the playoffs. So yeah, I predict Dan Campbell to, get fired after this season. He saved his
Anthony.
You know damn well he's
Anthony,
in the hot seat,
you and Jack can hang out in the. I hate Dan Campbell corner. I don't know what you guys' beef is with Dan Campbell, but every Sunday I would hear from that kid, "Oh, I hate that thing. I hate that guy."
Dude, it's because I just think if that was any other quarterback, any other head coach, he'd be fired. But just because he gives like motivational speeches that make kids and like Lions fans be like, you know what? Let's go.
Dude, you're running through a brick wall for that guy, dude. That dude is a coach's coach, man. That's a player's coach right there.
I was just thinking, like, you could motivate, like, give motivation speeches, yes, but you're not producing wins. And when I made that rant, they started went on a winning streak, dude, and it's like it was perfect timing. I was the perfect hater for them, and shout out to the Lions. They made the second place, and again, like I said, I'm excited to see those Viking games down there.
All right. Well, before we get in, just want to say that the Vikings finished first, 13-4, followed by the Lions, 9-8. Third place, Packers, 8-9, and then last place, the Chicago Bears, 3-14. All right. Next one, which we all big whiff on this one. NFC West. All right, we'll start with Anthony. Anthony said it would be LA, San Francisco, Arizona, and Seattle. First of all, we all said LA would take the division. We were all super wrong. Elite said LA, San Francisco, Arizona, and Seattle. And then I remember Elite saying that Seattle doesn't have a quarterback.
Last place, I'm just going to say straight out, it's going to be the Seahawks. They don't even have a quarterback yet.
And then Anthony also said that Drew Lock, nobody trusts Drew Lock, which is true. That's why they got Geno Smith.
No, that's why they got Geno Smith.
Yeah, that's why they got Geno Smith. No, like third year. No quarterback.
And then funny. I said LA, Arizona, San Francisco, and Seattle. Also, Anthony mentioned that San Francisco always has big injuries, which did happen this year again.
I mean, you're right. I can't see anybody else in that division beating the Rams because San Francisco just has too many problems with their injuries. I think every year they always have one big injury that really sets them back a couple games, but they make it to the playoffs somehow. I just think the Rams have more star players, and they're coming off the momentum of winning the Super Bowl. Like you said, the Seahawks really have, like, come on, Drew Lock. Does anyone actually believe in Drew Lock?
With all quarterbacks going down.
Insert
Shout out Droopy.
Getting hurt by Fun Reddit clip.
But in all fairness, did I say that when Drew Lock was still the quarterback, or was Geno Smith already in place?
No, it wasn't announced at the time.
Not gonna lie, I skimmed the episode. I just remember hearing you say that Seattle doesn't have a quarterback.
And they did it.
I can tell you Arizona does not have a quarterback.
And honestly, he's right, because, I mean, I would have never predicted Geno Smith to do this hot.
No, but I think they should give him 3 years.
Yeah, I think they should give him like a 2-year, 3-year deal. Yeah, I agree.
All right. And then, so 49ers finished 13-4, taking the division. Seahawks were off to a hot start, and then they just crumbled at the end. They finished 9-8, and then the Rams at 5-12, with Baker Mayfield coming in at the end of the season. Nobody expected that, and Cardinals finished 4-13, firing Cliff Kingsbury.
Which I think I said there at some point. I hate Kingsbury. He's not a good coach. I called that one. Well, I'm not high on that coach anyway, man. I know I called that. I've said that many times.
I think me and you were the ones saying that he's got to go.
He's got to go. He sucks.
Yep.
I mean, the team, now they're going to leave. They had 2 years of D-Hop. He's leaving now. He wants out. D-Hop's done. I mean, you're going to have nobody left. J.J. Watt retired. Dude, Murray's not the guy. Dude, Murray's not the fucking guy.
If Kingsbury, whatever the his name is, would have done motivational speeches like Dan Campbell, he would have been safe. I guarantee you.
No, they left it on. Did you ever watch the second season of Hard Knocks where they had it in season? It was actually really good. It had the Cardinals. Dude, the guy is Buda Baker, man. He gives the speeches like Dan Campbell.
Poor dude,
Buda
man. He's over there
Baker
on a winning team.
went out there and played him with like a fucked up leg and knee, and he's like still freaking got a goddamn sack and a freaking interception.
Nice. He's a hell of a player for Arizona. But I mean, that division, that was a gimme division.
I
Again, with
thought it was
South.
going to be a lot better division.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle was better than I thought they were going to be, but I think that was surprises me still the 49ers. The 49ers seem to win. How many games did you say they won? 12?
13, no?
Yeah, they finished 13-4.
They seem to get 13 wins with just fucking rolling the dice. Whatever happens, they always seem to get 13 wins. I swear they've had 13 wins for the last 3 years. Like every year.
Yeah, 49ers were like super weird because it started with Trey Lance. Okay, it's Trey Lance season and with Jimmy Garoppolo as backup. Then Trey Lance gets hurt. Was it week 2 or week 3?
3, yeah.
And then it's Jimmy G's team now, and then they're on a roll, and then Jimmy G gets hurt. And then now we're like, oh, Brock Purdy is going to start. We have a shout out Droopy. We asked him, who's a 49er fan. We said, who do you think is going to start next season? And he said he believes Brock Purdy's going to start.
I think so.
And which is insane because they moved up to get Trey Lance.
So the only thing I say about Trey Lance, I just had this conversation with Rio on PlayStation. He's a 49ers fan. And so I was talking to him and it was, if you think about it, so we know Jimmy Garoppolo's not coming back.
Yep.
They're not going to pay Jimmy G the money. Okay. And Jimmy G is exactly what Anthony said. He's injury prone. He gets hurt a lot. But when he's on the field, he's fucking awesome. So problem I feel bad for Trey Lance is he had that first game in that monsoon in Chicago. Remember, it was like so soggy and wet, you couldn't do anything.
Yep.
And then the second game, he had a decent game, and then he gets hurt in the first quarter in the third game. So there's really no tape on him. But I think what they're going to do is this kid came in, Purdy came in, won 5 games. He was on a 5-game winning streak until he lost to the Eagles. And 2 of them were playoff games. You got to give that kid a piece of the pie. You got to give him a look.
Yep.
You got to see what he can do. I mean, he won 2 playoff games, took it to the NFC Championship game as Mr. Irrelevant. Dude was the last pick in the draft.
Yeah, I do agree to some extent. I just think that some 49er fans praise him a little too much. A lot of people call him the next Mahomes, which I don't see that. And when I mean a lot of people, I mean you 49er fans. I see you in the comments. Not in our videos, but in other videos. The next Mahomes, the next upcoming. I don't think he's all that. I do think he's a good quarterback. Here will be my hot take that will probably get me hate is I think he is the next Kirk Cousins. A quarterback who is top 15 and nothing more. Do I give credit to the guy? Yeah. Do I think that Trey?
But if you think about that, Anthony, if you think about if he's top 15, I think that's all you need on that team because their defense is so good.
Hell yeah.
So think back of like Trent Dilfer and who was the guy that was Brad Johnson for the Buccaneers when their defense was so good. I mean, Tom Brady, that first championship that Tom Brady won where the defense carried him against the Rams. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, shit, I'll be the first to say it. Big Ben. Big Ben was not exceptional in Super Bowls. Those defenses won those Super Bowls for him.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Because Big Ben won 2, right? One with Arizona, one
2,
against Arizona, and one against.
Yeah, and he lost one of this team called the fucking Packers. Bastard.
That's not canon because Fergie left Black Eyed Peas and Brunner left the Packers, so not canon. But again, I predicted, the injuries always kill in San Francisco. So I mean, you don't need a fortune teller to tell me that. I also know that I predicted my division correctly, right?
I don't think neither one of us had the Cowboys is that high. Really?
I had the Cowboys at second. Yeah.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
What? I had the Cowboys winning division or what?
You had the Giants in second place.
Okay, I was actually good. That was actually a good prediction.
So let's go NFC. Let's go NFC East. What was it?
Well, AFC East. Well, I'm doing it how we did it in the video.
Oh, okay.
That's right. We did
Sorry.
Because we saved ours. We saved our last 3.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So AFC East.
AFC East. We also had the Bills, which is correct. Bills finished at 13-3. Me and Elite said the Jets would be second place.
And they were.
Anthony said the Dolphins, which he got correct. Well, actually, Anthony, you predicted the AFC East.
I thought the Jets came in second place. No,
Jets were in last as always.
So what did I
7
say
and 10.
again? Can you repeat that? Sorry.
So Anthony predicted it correct. Bills, Dolphins. He actually said Dolphins were going to go on a run, which they kind of did. And then Patriots, third place. They finished 8-9, and then the Jets at 7 and 10.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I think nobody expected, like, we all thought Zach Wilson was going to go off to a good start, but now they're like, oh, he's not the guy.
No,
Like
he
we're
isn't.
looking for.
I think
somebody
Mike
else.
Mike White's the guy there if they keep him. And I think the thing that's going to be interesting is the Dolphins next year. I think it's going to be interesting because I don't know if Tua, what the Tua. I mean, those concussions, you really got to start to worry about that. I mean, he's got to take care of his head, and the
Mhm.
Dolphins should step up, pay out his contract, and then reevaluate it like in a year or something. Let that kid rest his head. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Also, Ali, I have a question for you because you live in this live in that area. Is Mac? What are people saying about Mac Jones? Is he saying he's not the
Oh,
guy?
he's a fucking bum. They're all about Zappy. Everybody I talk to thinks Bailey Zappi's the guy. So, and I don't know. You're like, to me is the Patriots are such. You could see it so much now. They're such a system. It's a system, and when all the pieces work, looks great. Zappy looks great when all the pieces are working because it's the system that they have. And you saw it with Tom Brady for years. Tom Brady just really was an expert at making that system look good. But yeah, a lot people are not sold on Mac Jones.
Zappy, I can't believe people want Zappy.
Yeah, that's what they want, Zappy.
Bring in Zaps.
But don't be surprised again if New England's in that hunt for a veteran quarterback or if they're in that hunt for I'll be honest with you, a guy who I wonder if he'd work there. And I know this sounds crazy and I'm going to get hate for it. I wonder if Baker Mayfield would. Like, honestly, with the discipline of how the Patriots are, maybe it would put, I don't know. It just,
that's what everybody thought for Cam Newton.
Yeah, but Cam Newton, in all fairness, Cam Newton, I'm going to stand by this and die on this. Cam Newton had the COVID year. They didn't pull him in until 2 weeks before camp started. He didn't really have time to learn the playbook. They weren't doing real practices because of COVID. It's, you know what I'm saying? He went right back to the next year to Carolina. First time he stepped on the field, he looked like old Cam Newton because it was his old place. You know what I'm saying? I think it's from one thing I learned from Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson looked incredible as a Bengal. He was an incredible wide receiver as a Bengal. He got cut from the frigging goddamn Patriots because he couldn't learn the playbook. It's that complicated of a playbook. So I don't think it's something you can learn in 2 weeks.
I think if New England wanted to move on from Mac Jones, I don't know, maybe they should get Stafford because he's a veteran quarterback and he's got a good arm. He can learn the system.
And that's something, something like that, somebody like that. And that's kind of why I say Baker is, our Matt Stafford, or maybe Jimmy. I don't think Jimmy G would come back after how they treated him. But, somebody, I think it has to be somebody who's been around the block that's kind of at that last moment. That team, it sounds as crazy as this sounds because they ended up in third place in their division. That team was only a couple moves away from going deep in the playoffs. Yep. And then if you get a chip, you get a seat at the table, anything could happen in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird because I watch every game of theirs every week. And that defense, there's some killer guys on that defense. That guy Johnny Smith or whatever it is, Jonu Smith, or there's some nasty guys on that defense that. And I hate to say that because I hate the Patriots, but
yeah, for the Patriots. But I'm glad I predicted that division right at least. Got one. Right.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on.
Anything else you guys want to add before we move on?
No. Enough talk about the AFC East. Fuck them.
Right. AFC South. Anthony and Elite predicted the Colts would take the division.
What the
yeah, and then Anthony said it would be Colts, Titans, Jags, Texans. Elite said Colts, Titans, Jags, Texans. They said the same, exact same thing. I said Titans, Jags, Colts, Texans, and I also predicted the downfall of Matt Ryan. And what kept him alive was that because like a lot of the guys were either hurt, so the line would collapse and then Carson would escape, and then but Matty Ice can't do that. He's not as mobile as Carson, and then they don't have anybody to throw it to.
And you got that right.
You got that right. And I guess we were just wrong. Me and Anthony were just wrong if we would have flipped around the Jaguars, put them up one spot because it was went Jaguars Titans, right? Texans.
I can't
So
believe
Colts,
I put my
Jaguars,
trust in Matty
Titans.
Ice.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull up that clip now where you said Matty Ice takes division.
You actually
And
have
I'm
it
like,
recorded?
no. Yeah.
Dude, I'm
I have that on tape. I'm gonna put that in the edit.
Hot take. Ready? Matty Ice gets it done. 6th division.
It's a hot take.
Colts first, Titans second, Jags third, Texans last. Hot take.
I don't think it's that hot a take because I say the exact same thing. The exact same thing. I think that Matty Ice not only takes the division, goes to the playoffs, they go deep in the play. So
Yeah,
how far do you think that are you sold on the Jaguars being a good team?
With Peterson, yeah.
And two, do you think Trevor Lawrence is that guy?
Yes and yeah.
I think, yeah, I think yes and no. I think Doug Pearson is a good coach. Definitely changed the culture around. I think I know I'm going to get hate because I'm a Charger fan, but Trevor did have a lot of turnovers in that game, and he's been struggling with turnovers, and then Anthony destroyed him with the turnovers when they played the Eagles. So maybe get, like we said, veteran talent, Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, you know, and then now they're getting Calvin Ridley, but the turnovers are still concerning. I just think maybe people like Trevor's getting away with it because he was like a big name in college and he went undefeated. But if he was like a great quarterback, not like what he is, what he was in college, but I think if he was like a pretty good quarterback, like a I think if he was just an average, really good quarterback, then maybe he would have got cut. You know what I mean? Because if Zach Wilson's doing the same thing, do you think they would just cut Zach Wilson?
Well, it's interesting because the one thing you say is like both you guys said Peterson's a good coach. I would actually put Peterson as a great coach. Think about where that team was a year ago in like they came in. That dude came from Ohio State. God, I can't.
Urban Meyer,
thank you. And then like the scandal and all the crap that went along with it, and how shitty they were to go and win the division and actually look games where they looked good. They looked good. Now,
They beat the Cowboys.
I think they had a lot of games that they squeaked. When they beat Buffalo in London, I think it was Buffalo they beat in London. That was like a squeak game. Like it really was like kind of like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the games were by like, they were close games. They didn't really blow people out. So, but Trevor Lawrence did step up and spin that ball though when he needed to.
I forgot to bring that up with the Bills division. We gotta start talking about, are the Bills flukes?
Well, dude, you heard about the Bills, right? So the Bills are done.
Yeah,
they're done. So Stephon Diggs wants out. People want to leave there now. I think. I hope this doesn't happen. What I think's happening in the NFL is it's trying to become like the NBA, where people are trying to be empowered enough to say, "Well, I want to play here." You know what I'm saying? If they're not winning, they want to move on. And the Bills. Now, in all fairness, I think the Bills had an incredibly stressful season with a couple things that happened. You know what I'm saying? I think it's bullshit. They had to move out of their stadium one time because it was too cold and they had to go play in Detroit because of snow. That screws up because, I mean, the whole thing is about routine. Is all you ever hear about is routine. You know what I'm saying? And then when Damar got hurt, I think that seriously fucked that team up. You know what I'm saying? When you have to see somebody get resuscitated on a friggin' field of play, and it's somebody that you practice with and been with, I think that emotionally touches you a little bit different than the other team. Like the Bengals, I don't think were as affected as much as the Bills.
Yeah.
You know, but Bengals got theirs though.
Yeah, they did. They did.
So.
Yeah, but we gotta start talking about that. Is Josh Allen a fluke? I mean,
I don't think he's a fluke. But this year he did have a lot of interceptions. But I'll tell you, he's still one of those. He's probably one of my top 3 quarterbacks. If I have 2 minutes left on the clock, that's one of the guys I want having the ball.
yeah.
So I don't know if that's really a fluke. It's, I just think the play calling was a little shoddy though. When they play, I don't understand their
I think
OCs this year are weird.
Real quick, well, I'm going to say this before we move on to the next division because I don't want to get too distracted. But I think that one thing that the Bills lack is that they need to capture the first seed because they know they're not going to get f***ed if they don't. And I think they choke on like getting the first seed. And then when they choke getting the first seed, they lose on the road in some stupid way where it makes them look like dumb, and then like it's always we'll be back next year, and then next year it's the fucking same cycle, like they lose to the Bengals and then they lose to the Bengals again when it's like, oh, this is the Bills. Remember the first thing I thought was Eagles are playing Bills in the Super Bowl because it was Bills.
They were the best 2 teams in football.
It was, and it was like, and I think there's even a clip that you even say it. Eagles and Bills play Super Bowl, and the Bills take it. And the Bills kind of beat the Bengals, so now I'm thinking, dude, are we going to see any of the Bills even in, like, AFC championships in the next 5 years? Probably not, honestly. I think we'll see more of Jacksonville and Cincinnati.
The thing that's weird. The thing that's weird about it, is because I remember the exact quote I said is it's going to be Eagles and Bills because that's the 2 most complete teams in football. On both sides of the ball, they're good.
Von Miller injury, by the way.
And right, that's key. I mean, they had a couple key things happen, but you think about it, I don't want to blow smoke up anybody's butt, and I don't want to jinx anybody. But to me, is I look at it, I'm like, man, I don't think the Chiefs have a chance. Yeah, that's honestly how I feel.
Too. That's how I think too. And I'm an Eagle fan. So
the Eagles that offense looks too damn good. That defense looks way too good. You got Patty Mahomes hopping around on one leg. Now he does have 2 weeks for that high ankle sprain. You had another guy who Travis Kelce's hurt. He's got a back injury. So it's kind of like, okay, so your primary receiver and your quarterback, who's known for mobility, aren't mobile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens where. I'll be honest with you. I think that I hate how this always happens to me. The quarterback for the Eagles, I always get him confused with Justin Fields because
Jalen Hurts,
number 1.
Jalen Hurts. I think it's the J. Is what does it to me. And so Jalen Hurts, progressively during the season, I feel got better and better and better until he had that 2 game, missed that 2 game. He is my MVP. That dude is my MVP for the season. And I'm sure Patrick Mahomes is going to win it.
Yeah.
But to me, Jalen Hurts is the MVP of the league.
That's what I agree. And I don't care if they give it to Mahomes. Jalen will win Super Bowl MVP. That's all I give a fuck about. Is if they give it to Mahomes, fuck it. But if Jalen wins Super Bowl MVP, that's all he cares about.
All you care about is getting the ring. I don't give who they give the MVP to in that game.
Oh, yeah, dude. I think the Birds get their second ring February 14th. Actually, 12th, I think. I don't know. Next Sunday, whenever the Eagles play. Yeah, February 12th. Eagles get their second ring in Glendale. That's my prediction. I know that's me as a Birds fan. Everybody, hopefully I'm right. I mean, let's just see. Let's move on with the next. Let's move on to the next fucking thing before we start.
So Jaguars, AFC South was a weak division. Jaguars finished in first place at 9-8. Titans finished at 7-10. Colts 4-12, which we didn't bring up. Jeff Saturday coming in, and then and then Texans at 3, 13-1.
Should never done that. Flake. All right, next one.
All right, AFC North, Elite's division. We all said that the Ravens would take the division. And then we all said that the Bengals would be in second place. And then I think, hold on. Did we all say something? No, I'm sorry. So we all said Ravens. We all said Bengals in second place. Elite said the Browns would be in third place and the Steelers would finish last. And then me and Anthony had the same thing: Steelers third, Browns last, because the whole Deshaun Watson thing. Which the whole Deshaun Watson thing, he looked. It's a little scary. Not like scary, like he's not acting like the quarterback he was in Houston.
Well, and I was thinking about that. Like I just had this conversation with a dude on my fantasy team. Dude hasn't played in 2 years. That was basically his preseason games. Like what he did was like a preseason and a camp. You know what I'm saying? I think next year he'll come back and be much better than he was. I don't know if he'll ever be what he was in Houston. I think the Browns fucked up paying them $250 million guaranteed. And they deserve all the bullshit they get to go with it for bringing him on their team anyway. So that's called bad karma, boys. And
it's crazy because the Browns were good again, and then they took 3 steps back.
And Baker Mayfield gets a laugh. So
at home with Baker Mayfield, that's actually one thing.
And let me just, the one thing I have to say is it came down to one game. Steelers stepped up, won that one game. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season as a coach.
Oh, so I remember you predicted. You said that this would be the first year that Mike Tomlin will have
I did. My Steelers for the first time in probably 20-something years are going to have. I think it's going to be the very first time that Mike Tomlin is not going to have a winning record. I did, and it came close. But good golly, I was just having this conversation with a buddy of mine who's also a Steelers fan. And I have a lot of hope for the Steelers. I think that a couple key moves, they go pick up a middle linebacker. There's a rumor they might go pick up Joey Porter Jr. And I think if they get a receiver and then some offensive line help, I think they could possibly win their division. Bengals are tough, though. Bengals are tough.
Yeah, Bengals
I'm a believer in the Bengals now. I'm a believer in the Bengals.
I think Mike Tomlin is a Bengal slayer, though. I think he could figure out a game plan to beat him.
Yes, we did beat him. We did beat him. So it's but they're I thought they were a fluke last year.
I don't know what we were all thinking there. I mean, they don't even have a receiver.
Because the mindset was Lamar was going to go off because they're like, oh, should they pay Lamar or should they move on? So we all said like, this is Lamar's this is his like breakout year. He's gonna like go off and then potentially win MVP. But unfortunately, he had a big injury and then missed a lot of time. And then now they haven't given him an extension. Yeah,
dude, that's another place. Jimmy G or somebody might go to. Honestly,
Anthony, do you have anything to add to it?
I'm just thinking Lamar Jackson's probably. I don't think a lot of people say he's going to Dallas. I don't see that. I think he stays in. Yeah, I know, right? I think Lamar Jackson stays in Baltimore. I don't think he goes anywhere. I don't think they bring in anyone else. I don't know for how long, but shout out Elite with Mike Tomlin. That's all I gotta say.
I have a crazy wacky prediction. I think maybe Lamar, because Lamar's from Florida, so maybe he would want to go to Miami if Miami decides to move on from Tua because of all Tua's concussions.
If not, Tampa needs a quarterback.
But I also could see what was it?
Tampa needs a quarterback.
Yeah, Tampa too. Tampa maybe. I forgot about that because Brady just retired. And then I also thought that maybe if Brock Purdy's going to be number 1, that the Baltimore goes out and tries and trades for Trey Lance because they're very similar. They're both mobile and they've got a good arm. And then because San Francisco will try and recover some of Trey Lance's what they gave up for Trey Lance. So that's my wacky NBA Madden trade theory.
That's not so It's so. Speaking of the Buccaneers, I say, hey, let's get the band back together. Byron Leftwich, come back to Pittsburgh. Let's make him our OC.
I mean, why not, right? Jump ship. Literally. Like, no
Well,
pun
they
intended.
fired him. They cut him. He's done at the Buccaneers, so bring him up.
Yeah, I saw they're like, they fired the wrong person.
They did. But sacrificial, I guess. So what's the next division?
All right, Bengals finished at 12-4, followed by the Ravens at 10-7. Mike Tomlin remains still winning at 9-8, and then the Browns finished at 7-10. On to the next division, the NFC East. We all predicted the Cowboys would take the division.
Wow.
Elite predicted it would be. Actually, Elite, you predicted the NFC East. You said Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders.
I think, unfortunately, I hate to say this, I think the Cowboys are going to be second. I think the Cowboys actually. I think the Cowboys might make the playoffs, which is even worse. I don't think they're going to go far. I think they'll be one and doneers, but I think they might make the playoffs. New York Commanders.
Good shit, Elite.
I said Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants. Anthony said Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, and Commanders.
What about Carson Wentz?
Yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz is done.
I not gonna lie, I'll admit I was wrong because I literally said I'm like they got Carson. I'm like they got Terry, Scary Terry.
Yeah.
They got Curtis Samuel. What's the rookie wide receiver went off? I think his name's Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, Dotson.
Yeah,
went off. Commanders in second place because they have a good quarterback with Wentz. And then they got Curtis Samuel. And then they have Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. And then who's the running back?
Gibson?
Gibson's a good running back.
Yeah. They have a decent running back.
And then
they have an amazing defense, too. They do have a really good defense.
Yeah, Chase Young, Scary Hours. And then I think Dallas is going to go third, and then Jerry's going to fire McCarthy. And then
halfway through
Giants
the season.
left.
And bring in Sam and bring in Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Left hand up
Kid's
will
good.
be the Commanders. Am I right, guys? Look,
dude, speaking of the Commanders, I saw the funniest thing and thought of Anthony. I was like, Anthony needs to do this. Some dude took his Eagles Wentz jersey, took duct tape all over one of the goddamn ones,
and put Hurts,
and then he put Hurts on top of it.
I've seen people. There's a guy in the Ale House that has a Wentz jersey, but instead of it saying Wentz, it's duct tape and it says Brown. But
that's so funny.
I mean,
that's another one you could do it with.
This isn't even a hot take. This is just my take. Carson Wentz isn't an NFL quarterback in next year. He's done.
I think he'll be a backup somewhere. He'll be like one of those perennial backups. Here's a hot take. I don't know if the Cowboys are going forward with Dak Prescott.
I saw that they're might extend him.
Extend him? That's the whole. First of all, that team, honestly, you need to get rid of Ezekiel Elliott, which his contract, I think, is done now. I think it's done.
He has one more year.
So,
yeah.
But it's short money, though, if I remember right. Pollard's the better running back by far. And Dak Prescott's not the guy. When he got hurt, I forget who the dude that came in.
Cooper Rush.
Oh, yeah.
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Kush. Yeah, Cooper Kush.
Dude, that dude made Dak Prescott look like a hobo.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys release Ezekiel Elliott, they gain $20 million cap. That's why Ezekiel Elliott's asking for a pay cut because he wants to stay in Dallas because he knows damn well no team is going to pick him up. Dude, Todd Gurley did the same thing. Todd Gurley didn't want to take a pay cut. He got released. He went to the Falcons. No one knows about Todd Gurley. You go ask any middle schooler right now, they're going to be like, who the is Todd Gurley? You know, I think Ezekiel Elliott.
And they both had the same thing. They had one good year.
Yep, one good year. I think Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott haven't been relevant since their rookie year, which is the year that Romo was there. So that should tell you how fucking long ago it was. I think that the Cowboys will sign Dak because they are that much of an idiot, and I, as an Eagle fan, thank them. because
I think he's under
fuck that.
contract. I think I think did he get? I mean, I'm gonna see
Yeah,
his
he got
contract.
didn't extend.
Last year he got a big extension.
Here's my prediction. I think Jalen Hurts gets paid 5 years in off season this year. Jalen Hurts.
So they
gets paid
signed
5
him
years
last
this
year. They signed him to a 4-year, $160 million contract with a $66 million signing bonus, 126 guaranteed, and the average annual salary of $40 million. In 2023, his base salary is 31. So they're gonna have to find somebody to get that cap hit of 49 million, which they probably won't get. So it does say they're looking for an extent. Oh, they're probably looking for an extension to lower his hit. That's what they're probably doing. Whatever,
Yeah.
what do they call that? Restructuring his
Restructure.
contract. And because it's such, they're handicapped. They can't bring anybody in. They have no cap space to bring anybody. And even their receivers, there was that one kid that looked really good, but I mean, I don't know.
CD's still good.
CD Lamb, that's the kid.
And then they cut. I don't know why they got rid of Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is really good, and then he went off on the Browns too. He stepped up on the Browns. But I know Anthony's happy. He was doing the gritty that he was doing the Lil Uzi I Want to Rock when they cut Amari Cooper.
So
I mean, yeah, I got lucky. Left hand up or be the Commanders. That's all I gotta say.
Also, can we? Me and Anthony. Anthony, I want you to chime in on this. I have a story time. All right. I'm a Charger fan. I don't give a shit about the Giants. All right. Like, I'm neutral. I don't care what's going on with you guys. We're neutral, right? We're not division. So, first of all, before I get into what Anthony's thinking of, a long time ago, I saw these dumb guys on this podcast. They're like, "Oh, like Giants are so good. I don't know why Aaron Rodgers is complaining because who's Daniel Jones throwing it to? Like Daniel Jones doesn't have anybody to throw it to." I'm like, "You guys finished the same record." I'm like, "Now you guys finished the same record." This was when Daniel Jones was on the hot streak, but I'm like, "You guys finished almost the exact same." And then fast forward to I make this funny NFL meme of the Chargers whole season in a nutshell. And then I commented on the post on our post saying Chargers got hit with so many injuries this season, which is just a general statement, which is true. And then this Giants fan out of nowhere is like, "Oh, Giants had so many injuries too, and we went farther in the playoffs." And then I'm like, and he's like, "And we did so much better." I'm going to put it up on screen. And then I'm like, "You guys finished 9-7-1." I'm like, "That's not an achievement." I'm like, "You were one other NFC good team. Like, if another NFC team was good, you wouldn't even be in the playoffs. You were 9-7-1." Because what if the Saints were better, or what if the Panthers were better? You know what I mean? Then they would have had that spot. And then I tell Anthony, I'm like, "Anthony, I need backup." I'm like, "Come in and roast this dude." And then Anthony goes off.
I didn't even. All I read was Giants fan. That's all I got to hear. So prior to that, pre-story, leading up to the Super Bowl, I think since Wild Card Weekend, I've been going to Giants fan pages and commenting under their posts saying, "We f you, we own the Giants, 2-0 against the Giants." I remember I even went to the New York Giants Instagram, and they under their hype video, like there was this guy that was like, "I'm driving 30 hours to go see him play," and I commented, like I replied, I'm like, all that just for them to get eliminated, and then like a bunch of Giants fans were adding me. I was talking mad shit, saying, "Don't block me when the Eagles beat you guys. Don't block me when because I said the Giants are going to beat the Vikings, but the Giants are not going to beat the Eagles, and I've been saying that since the wild card, and then guess what? Giants fucking lost. Go look at the score, Giants fans. Blown the fuck out. All week I was hearing, "Oh, you couldn't even blow out our third stringers. You couldn't even do it." Dude, we weren't even taking that game seriously. We were fucking taking that shit as a preseason. And yeah, I mean, I went in. All I read was Giants fan. I went in to help Brunner. I told him, like, "I don't even know why you're talking shit. I'm like, you got clapped in the divisional round by my Birds." So I'm like, and I even told him, I think that we own you, so shut up. Like, you shouldn't be talking because you didn't. And then he said something, dude, where he was like, "Oh, imagine losing to the Commanders." I'm like, "Bro, we're in the Super Bowl."
Oh, no, he said, "Imagine losing to the Saints."
Yeah.
And then you said you guys lost to the Lions or something like that.
Yeah, I was like, "You guys lost to the Lions, dude." And I was like,
and then I said, and then I told him, I said, I'm like, dude, I'm like, you've played Philadelphia twice and you still didn't make the adjustment. You lost 38-7. I'm like, I'm like, you guys play these guys. It's the same people. And I'm like, and you
Yeah.
can put up any points. I'm like, I know you put up 7 points, but you can do more damage.
Dude, yeah.
And then he just stopped talking to us
He did.
because we roasted him so hard.
And I even told him, I was like, 3-0. Like, the next season might be different, but I know this season. I was like, we're in a Super Bowl, you bum. I heard that's like one of the last thing I told him was, we're in the Super Bowl, you bum. But yeah, dude, that guy's an idiot. I mean, if he's listening to this.
So fun fact. The last 2 games the Eagles played, I shut them off at halftime.
It's true.
They
I
beat
started watching the Royal Rumble.
They beat the Giants. Giants only scored 1 tutty against them. They lost 28-7. And then they played who was the next team they played? San Francisco scored 7 points against them. They lost 31-7.
Spanked both of those teams, dude.
I never even saw them get a trophy.
All I gotta say this is all I gotta say. Shout out Jack. Shout out Hassan Reddick.
So,
yeah. All right. So I bring that up because now we're getting to AFC West.
But yeah, this is gonna be interesting. This is the one I think. This is the one everybody talked about, all the hype at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
the 3 teams are going to the playoffs from. Yeah, I know we all
also
got it wrong.
Can I say nobody expected this from Russell Wilson at all?
No, not at all. That's fair to say.
Right. We all said LA. We all said LA would take the division, which they would have if they all would have stayed healthy. Then me and Elite said Denver would be in second place. So I said LA, Denver, Kansas City, Vegas. Elite said LA, Denver, Las Vegas, Kansas City. Anthony said LA, Las Vegas, Kansas City, Denver.
We all fucked that one up.
We all fought. Yeah,
we thought they were going to fall. Now, in all fairness,
Devontae Adams, I guess.
2 things I have to say about the Chargers. If Mike Williams didn't hurt his back, that's a big change. And is it fair to say that Joey Bosa has field issues? That dude is hurt every year, though, man.
Yeah,
every year.
I thought you were talking about when he got mad at the refs.
No. He's just hurt every year. He misses games every year.
But I think it's his field, dude. I think it's his turf field that he plays in.
Yeah, it's the turf.
But
it's
still,
his brother's hurt all the time too.
I mean,
Nick Bosa. I think last season or the season before missed all of last season.
They're always hurt.
I think one player that I got wrong that was I know Leeds hurt this many times for me is I said Christian McCaffrey's going to get hurt in the 49ers. Didn't happen. He played great this season.
So I think, don't get pissed at me, Jack. The problem was that he was on the Panthers, and that was the only piece. He was Weapon X. They had to use him for everything. Now he goes there. He's got Debo who can do this. He's got another Swiss Army knife in Debo. He's got him, and all of a sudden now you're seeing him stretch the field out because he doesn't have to hold the ball all the time.
Yeah, and San Francisco has their other backup running back is pretty good. He can get yards as well.
Yeah. So I think that's plus they have receivers. So it's truly stretching out. The field is stretched out. It's not all bunched up. You know that it's going to go within the first 6 yards. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to play, in the pocket. I mean, always sitting right there coming in. So different, but yeah, I think he's the real deal. I've said it numerous times. I think McCaffrey, next year when you see him a full year in San Francisco gave up a lot for him, but I think it's going to be a good fit for him. But the Chargers, I think will be back. I don't know, dude, Brunner, I don't know if I'm sold on fucking your quarterback yet. Okay? I don't know. There's moments that he looks amazing, and there's moments that I'm like, what the fuck is this kid doing?
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I will say this. I'm going to back up Elite. I'm not going to say your quarterback, but I just don't think your head coach is it.
Oh, I don't think your head coach is it either.
Because I think Herbert's a great quarterback. I just think your coach needs to learn time management. and how to like keep going aggressive
Yes.
with the ball. Because I think you had the Jags, man, you guys, and I hate to bring it up, and I love you, Brunner. I always go for the Chargers when I can. But that head coach, man, he's choke. He did it with the Raiders. He did it with the Jags. Like I think he has 1 or 2 more years. He needs to prove himself. If not, he needs to get a better coach. Now, I will say this: it's a hot take to most people. Sorry, Elite. Real quick, that offense coordinator hire from the Cowboys, I think is going to change Justin Herbert for the better.
Yeah. So I think what it is with Herbert is there's times that usually when I see like what the hell is he doing, is I think he's still in that point where he's kind of I don't want to say he's a rookie because what is he, his 3rd year now?
Yeah.
Okay. But
2020.
I don't think he has the confidence yet to say, "Fuck you, coach. I'm just going to go off and do this." Because like you'll
He's
see him
very
like,
humble.
do you know what you're saying? You'll see him like make a move, like he'll pump fake, like you should have threw the ball right there. That's where you should have put the ball, right in that pocket. But then he tucks it because or whatever, and then it's like it's kind of like a play that you could tell like the coach is calling shitty plays. Do you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I feel.
So I want to get the charge thing out of the way. I won't make excuses. So Justin Herbert had a rib injury. Also, didn't like. I'm so glad we got rid of our offense coordinator Joe Lombardi. Like, I didn't like him. Anthony was right, and then I did more research on him, and him and Justin are both from Oregon, and and then they even did like Oregon has like a local tire, not tire, but like automotive company, so they both did a commercial for them together. So I think the connections there. I think Kellen Moore is a great addition for the Chargers. A lot of Chargers fans wanted Sean Payton, but we just saw what Denver did to get Sean Payton, and that's too much.
Too
That would
much.
have been too much. I see why we stuck with Brandon Staley. And then I have faith in Brandon Staley. The only time I didn't have faith in him was on the when we played the Browns, I think week 4, week 5, and we went for it on 4th down and we didn't get it because Herbert doesn't have anybody to throw it to. I've been saying this and I've sent screenshots throughout the season because of the injuries. I'm like, Keenan Allen played week 1 and then missed and then got hurt week 2 and then missed like 6 games. And then like Mike Williams was hurt. Like we at a time we had our wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 were on the injury report. So I think we need a solid number 3 for Justin so that if Keenan's out, then it's Keenan. I'm sorry, if Keenan is out, then it's Mike Williams and this guy.
Do you know
Or
who'd
if
be a really
Mike
good
Williams
player
is
for
out,
you guys?
say that again.
Do you know who you guys should go get? He's a free
Okay.
agent.
DC.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
I think Odell should go back, stay in LA, and go with the Chargers.
I don't think Eldell went anywhere because I think what happened was he had that when he had that exam, they found out that knee's no good.
He was supposed to go to the Cowboys.
Yeah, and he failed the goddamn physical. So I think his knee's no good.
And then Rashawn Slater, who I love, who's our left tackle. His rookie year, he contained Chase Young, and then this was year 2 for him, and then he missed the whole season. And then Joey Bosa got hurt. I was there and I cried. I was there at SoFi and I cried. And then J.C. Jackson got hurt. He was struggling, I guess, because he's been in Bill's system for so long, so he was struggling to learn Staley's system, and then he gets hurt week 4, week 5 against Seattle, or I think it was week 6.
Oh, I think there was a ton of injuries to that team, no doubt, and I think that team is still a young team. Brandon Staley's definitely no Mike Tomlin. Let's just put it that way. But I think that when you think about it, that's why I think you need a strong coach is to pull that young team together and give direction, and just kind of because you have. So if you really sit and say, what do the Chargers need? Okay, we could sit and say, oh, well, they need more bench. They need more bench because of injuries. Now, odds are 10 guys. I mean, you just named off 8, and I was looking at the list before we had the conversation. They had 10 major injuries this year. That's going to blow up any team in the NFL. Any team in the NFL. If you lose your 1 and 2 receiver, you lose primary linemen, you lose great defensive players. You got a quarterback with a bad rib. Do you think every time he threw the ball, it had to hurt? You know what I'm saying? That's going to blow up any team. So I think they'll come back next year. I just am so. I think everybody at ESPN, I think everybody at all those sports places should be fired, man. They hyped up that division so much.
Yeah.
They sold
Also,
us some bullshit on that division.
yeah, and then also they're like Derek Carr, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfro. They're gonna go on a run.
Buda Baker.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They're going to go on a
Oh,
fucking run.
yeah,
to the
Chandler
fucking stand.
Jones.
It's
They picked up Chandler
I mean,
Jones.
the Cardinals. I said in the beginning.
finish
I
the
said in the
Cardinals.
beginning. Cardinals aren't going to do because Kyler Murray's not a quarterback.
Yep.
He's not. I've said it from Jump Street. The kid sucks. I don't know why they paid him that money. They're going to be living with that contract and pissed off about that contract for years. The Raiders are the fucking Raiders. They find Raiders every year figure out a way to fuck themselves. It's just literally in some of the most iconic, weirdest ass ways. The one that messed me up was the Broncos. The Broncos actually got worse by getting a better quarterback. How does that work?
I mean, let's see what Champagne does, man. I mean, I don't trust it. I don't think he's gonna do any good, like most people think. I think, like, I don't know. I just don't.
They got a worse record with a better quarterback.
I don't know, man, but I don't think Champagne's gonna do that good. That's my hot take. We definitely have to do a part 2 to these NFL takes. I want to do it after the Super Bowl because we get to see who knows that's not gonna come back. We could do early predictions again. We could do
Free agent
for
predictions.
sure. I want to
yeah.
do the QB thing. Like we'll go through each.
Oh, there's so many QBs. I think they're coming up too.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So
we'll
many.
definitely talk about that. I think we should wrap this up though. It's about an hour.
Yeah.
Nervous, boys. We won't lie. We're nervous, but we're coming for Andy Reid's ass. We're coming from home.
Okay. Who are your predictions before we go? Who are your predictions for Super Bowl?
Eagles.
Early.
I'm taking the Eagles.
I also predict Eagles.
Of course, I'm right on my birds. Eagles. I'm not gonna say a final score, but it's gonna be a good game. Nervous as fuck thinking about it, but
I think it's gonna be. I think it might be the first score to get close to. That could break 100. Like seriously, if you think about it, that could break 100. I don't think it's gonna get to that. I think it's gonna probably be in the. I think probably 60s combined.
I think it's gonna be in the 40s.
I'll say over under 64.
Oof, nervous just thinking about it, but we got the Game Chat Army behind us. Aye.
All right. Before we go, also want to give a shout out to Coach Andy Reid for making the adjustments for losing Tyreek and Tyrann Mathieu. Shout out Coach Reid. And anything else you guys want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out. Fuck you, the Walrus. Andy Reid.
No, that's it. I mean, thank you for listening.